If you've ever had a nutrition client that's struggling to get results, regardless of what you try or suggest, you're gonna wanna pay attention to today, because I'm gonna go over what to do and what to say in some of the toughest client cases. We're gonna go over what to do when clients are losing interest in the process, what could be stopping a client's results, and this one's on you, and what is your role as the nutrition coach in motivating clients. When you can do this properly, you'll get better results for your clients and make more money. If I've learned anything after training hundreds of nutrition coaches, it's that sometimes you just need the words to say. So let's jump into some situations, starting with number one, your client is losing interest in the process. Here's a question I had recently from a new nutrition coach about low engagement with his clients. His clients were falling off the process quickly and he wanted to make sure it wasn't something that he was doing. Most of the clients I had going seemed to lose motivation around the 3-week mark and stop the tracking sheet and doing the things that they were supposed to be doing altogether. Do you have some advice on how to keep engagement with these clients who may be finding it hard to stay motivated? And furthermore, how do you get those clients to renew for a second or a third month? Okay, so there's two concerns that stand out here. The first one is keeping those clients engaged and motivated, and the second one is retaining your nutrition clients. So one is coaching, one is a bit more business. Let's focus on the first one first. So the biggest thing when it comes to coaching your nutrition clients is setting rock solid expectations right from the start. Make sure it's super clear how you conduct your business. Here is the tracking sheet. Here's how you check in. This is how we're going to do all of our coaching. You're going to need to remind people of this process, not because it's in your best interest, because it's in their best interest. They're going to get better results if they follow the process, stay accountable, and you remind them how far they've come. This isn't for you, it's for them. And you always need to remind people why it's in their best interest to do these sort of things. Now, on the business side of things, if you want clients to renew for a second or third month, you need to have a recurring payment system in place. Think about it this way. When I leave my hairstylist, the first thing I do, and I make sure I do it, is I book in for another appointment. Because if I don't, I might forget, I might delay it, and I might hesitate. The same principle applies here. By having a recurring payment system, you're baking in that accountability and long-term commitment. Clients know as long as that payment goes through, they're signed up and they're continuing on their journey towards reaching their health goals. Now, if you set this up, or if you already have it in place and that low engagement persists, then it's probably because the reason that they signed up or the result they're trying to achieve isn't at the forefront of their minds. And that's where your role as a nutrition coach becomes crucial. It's your job to reassure them that they're on the right track and remind them how far they've come towards their goals and reminding them why they need to continue on in this journey. It's not about pushing them to do it, but helping them find their own motivation and desire to continue. So to summarize here, you need to have rock solid expectations around your coaching process. You need to have a recurring payment system in place. And you also need to remind clients why they've went down this path. And when you do this, you'll create a greater sense of accountability and help your clients stay engaged through the process. Next up, if you have clients that are struggling to get results, the next reason is going to be way too common, and it's because of coaches that care too much, not too little. And here's the issue. Number two, you're not acting like the authority. Now, as much as you want to be on your client's team and be friendly and set them up for success long term, you need to remember you're the expert in the situation. If people knew exactly what to do and how to solve a problem, they wouldn't be coming to you, but they are, so you need to tell them what to do. Remember, people see you as the solution. You are their hope. So although they need to be bought into the process and ready to do the work, you're the one given the instruction. And this means being the authority. And I see this almost every day with the nutrition coaches I work with. The ironic part is this seems to affect the most experienced, thoughtful coaches more than anybody else. They know exactly what they need to do. They've done it themselves. They've done it with most of the clients they work with. They have a path to success. But where they start to lose their clients is when they're being too easygoing or passive. So let's dig into this so you know exactly how to show up to get your clients results. And this just isn't with current clients, it's also with potential clients as well, which is almost worse. But I'll talk about that in a second. Here's what derails most new and even experienced nutrition coaches. It usually sounds like this. So you have a client that's doing well, they've seen some results and they're pretty content, but they're not really where you both thought they would be. Have they been perfect? No, there's definitely more than they could do to achieve results. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with you and they're gonna shift the blame onto you. And they're gonna ask you why you haven't held them more accountable, why you haven't pushed them harder, and why you aren't presenting strategies that are gonna work better for them. And here's where most coaches go wrong. You have a client that wants better results and you know exactly what you would do to get them better results, but you're tiptoeing around it because because you want to be a coach that is empathetic and a coach that cares. But that's not going to work, because if you truly care, you'll give them and present them exactly what they need to do to get a result. Now close your eyes for a second, and I want you to think about someone you know you could help. Could be someone that you're currently working with that's struggling, or just someone that you know you have the path to help. Now, what do they need to do? And this isn't what they think they need to do, but what you know in your heart would be the difference maker for them. This is what you need to present as the path, a singular focus and clarity. And this is what you need to say to them. If you want this result, this is the only thing you need to focus on. I'll help you figure out what to do to put it into action, but this is what you need to do. And this is not what most nutrition coaches do, and that's why their clients struggle. It's because they don't stick to their guns. They backpedal and they try to get their clients involved, asking questions like, well, what would you like to see differently? What do you think would work better? Or here are all the things you could try. Don't do that. Completely wrong. This is the first step on how you lose them entirely. If you want to get them better results, you need to be clear and prescriptive around what they need to do. You need to hold them accountable to those action steps, and you need to get them to focus on that and only that. This is the only way. And here's a good example of this. I just had a brand new nutrition client just a few weeks into their program, struggling to get things going and wondering if they really needed to track their nutrition. Keep in mind, they missed a bunch of days of tracking and didn't really see the importance of it from the beginning. An empathetic coach would think, they're really struggling with this. Maybe there's a different way. But I'm looking at a client that wants a specific result, a result that I know exactly how to achieve, and they aren't doing what I know will work. So what am I going to do? I'm going to tell them that they need to track, and not because I want them to, because it's the best path for them to get a specific result. And if they want to achieve that result, this is what's going to help, and you got to stick to your guns. Of course, feedback is still important, but you don't need to rely on it exclusively to guide your coaching process. Be confident in your abilities, trust yourself, and be certain about the next step the client needs to take. You need to be the authority, and this just isn't for current clients, it's also for potential clients too. First off, if you have people talking to you about your nutrition coaching services, this is good. Don't discredit that. You're most of the way there, but let's talk about some strategies to take it from good to great. But when you're in the DMs and you're asking questions like, let me know what you're looking for, or let me make sure I can help you, you're giving up all your authority. You need to flip the script around this dynamic and act like the expert. Although people are going to purchase your coaching, you need to be the buyer, not the seller. Instead of asking if it's a good fit or being too accommodating, be more assertive and tell them what you think is best for them based on what they described. So when someone asks a question or expresses interest in what you do, you respond confidently. Yes, that is something I can help you with. Let me show you how I'll help you in this next step. Instead of, let's figure out if this is something that I can help you with or something that you would like. Of course, they're going to like it. You have the path of success and results. When my nutrition coaches are struggling to get clients, I like to ask them this. Think about the best nutrition client you ever had and what made them so successful. They say stuff to me like this, and I'm going to read you an exact example of that answer. It was this client that would always do what was asked of her. She just needed a firm push and be told exactly what needed to happen. She actually preferred it that way. These people are the best clients, the ones that are ready to do the work and the ones that are ready to listen. They just need a coach that shows up telling them exactly what they need to do. And that's my biggest concern with some of the nutrition coaching certifications that are a bit too habit-based and rely too much on the feedback from the clients. Of course, the client should have some autonomy. They should be bought in. They have to have ownership over the work, but not the plan. You need to tell them what to do, or it just doesn't work for your nutrition coaching business. Okay, so we went over your client's role in the process, your role as the authority. There's one more thing that you need to do to make sure your plan just isn't correct, that it'll actually work. And that's number 3, you're acting like a scientist, not a coach. Here's the toughest scenario. So you set up a new nutrition client on a plan. It makes sense. You know what they need to do. They know exactly what they need to do. They even follow it, and adherence is good. They're sticking to things, but it doesn't work. And they're starting to get a little frustrated. And unfortunately, this one is on you. You probably set them up on the wrong level of food. Well, actually, on paper, it may be right, but it's not going to give them results. Let me explain. So good coaches use the science of nutrition to get results and to create a plan. It's repeatable and it's effective, but sometimes putting too much trust into what could work is going to lead you into trouble. And here's how this happens. The best way to get clients results is to prescribe the total amount of food or calories that they should be eating. And this is commonly done through calculations. If you can determine how much energy someone is burning on a normal level, you know how much food to give them to help help them achieve a result. So you can do this through energy expenditure calculations like the Harris-Benedict equation or the Mifflin-St. Youre. And this will give you an idea of how much energy an individual, based on their height, their age, their sex, and their activity levels, how much energy they're burning on average per day. And then you can prescribe a certain level of food to help them reach their goals and get them to stay within it with your help. And this makes sense, right? Here's the problem. There's a big difference between what someone should be eating, what should work, and what they're actually doing. And let me explain what this means to you as a nutrition coach. What a textbook or calculation says someone should be eating is one thing, but what they actually do is completely different. It's like comparing apples and oranges, and here's why. One is theoretical. It's based on what actually should happen on paper, but the other one isn't theoretical. It's real. It's based on what actually happens, or at least what they say is happening. So when you set them up on what should work and they track towards it, it may backfire. So you may have weight loss clients actually gaining weight when you don't know and understand the difference. So use calculations, but also assess what they're eating and what they're doing right now, and use both to set a starting point. That's how you apply the knowledge of nutrition as a coach and help your clients get better results. Now, as great as all those tips are, if you're really serious about starting a nutrition coaching business, the next thing I'll have you do is check out this video I've linked up right here. Listen, I want to save you a bunch of time and frustration by avoiding some very common mistakes. And this video details the exact reasons why most nutrition coaches actually fail their clients. So check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video.